Well, hey there, fellow wackadoos. Hello again, and welcome back to Dr. Doodle's QBasic Asylum. Can you believe we're here at episode 30 now? Ooh, how did we make it this far? But listen, now I know all you budding young software engineers out there, I know you wanted to out Microsoft Billy Gates and build the next big thing, the next out Windows, and yes you did. Oh yes you did. Yeah, no you did. Oh, all right, you didn't. Liar. Well, but anyway, I did, so I did. And here it is. This is Q-Goo, or is it this way? Yeah, either way. Q-Goo, the QBasic Graphical User Interface. And let's check this pig out, shall we? Woo, here we go. Right over here. Oh, over here. Alright, well, here we got Q-Goo.base, the QBasic GUI, Graphical User Interface. A copyleft 2025, as always, by Dr. Doodle. Now we initialize the program. Well, we'll get to that crap, but let's just run this pig. Let's see what you do. Alright, we click run and boop.
Hello, and welcome to Q-Goo, the QBasic Graphical User Interface. Let's get gooey.
Alright, kiddies, let's get gooey. Woo! Yeah, so here it is, Q-Goo, and just like Windows, well, not just like Windows, but more bester, we got here, these are all our icons we can choose on. Look, here's Quilt. This is the very first program we ever wrote together. Remember way back in the day? Oh yes, this the 12 billion of us here in this page. But there it is, boom. Okay, so now we want to go, maybe text, try this one. This is the text video, or text program, yeah, hey there. We've seen all this crap. Basically the idea, let's go for, we'll try some tic-tac-toe. Have I shown you this one yet? Tic-tac-toe is fun, it's pretty simple. Boom, there we go. Okay, we'll go here then. Yep. Hey, we win. Care to play again? Sure, what the heck, why not? Not even, forget about it. Now, of course, we got our icons. We can select whatever program we want to run. And look at here, down here, I've reserved these last 5 here for Doom, Hexen, Editor. These are DOS programs, not just QBasic, but you can actually run DOS programs. Now, unfortunately, this old desktop here, she hasn't got the memory to run Doom or Hexen, but on my laptop, it works just great. And maybe I'll show you that later. In any case, so here we got our graphical user interface. There's the quit button. All right, so now we've seen what our icons do. We can click on whatever we want to do here, but let's click here on the Q-Goo logo and see. Oh, look at here. This is our control panel. We got options we can configure. We configure the buttons, reset. We'll do that later, but let's start with the color scheme. We can select different. Here's dark black. It's very spooky and gothic for all you goth emo kids out there. Let's try. How about we'll go dark blue. Nice, very pleasing to the eye. Try green, not my cup of tea, but if you're into a green world, environmental, who knows, whatever. We'll go red. Red's very aggressive and powerful. I like that one. Let's go purple. Now, well, purple's cool, but the logo here kind of blends into the background, and we'll go with yellow. Same thing, the text, again, blends into the background. So we'll try white, finally. Boom. Okay, there's white. Now my personal fave, of course, got to be agua. I like that color there. Yeah, so we'll keep that. Let's take look at some other settings here. We got sounds. Okay. Well, what we'll do here, we'll click here, quit, so you can hear the shutdown sound and rehear the startup sound again. Here we go. Oh yeah, there we go, down the turlet. All right, so we'll restart her now. You'll hear the startup and shutdown sounds. Here we go.
Hello, and welcome to Q-Goo, the QBasic Graphical User Interface. Let's get gooey.
Okay, there you have it. There's your default, the Q-Goo WAV file. But let's try something. I need something a little more dramatic for this because this is an epic piece of software right here. So let's go with something more dramatic. Try this one. And then, of course, with the go to flush down the turlet on our shutdown again. Enter and quit. There we go, down the drain. Okay, so let's start her up now. See what we get. Run. Ooh, epic, dramatic. Woo, dun 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 dun. Yeah, I like that, but that's kind of long. So let's try this. We'll go with the sounds and just enter. We'll blank. Now shut her down, and we'll go right back to the default sounds we had before. But there you go. You can record your own sounds and use whatever you want for startup. And let's start her up again.
Hello and welcome to Q-Goo, the QBasic Graphical User Interface. Let's get gooey.
Again, the default sound. So what else we got here? We got, okay, screensaver. Let's check the screensaver out. We got it for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes are off. Right, currently it's off. Let's go to 15 minutes here. Now, in reality, this is set to 15 seconds just for this video because I don't want to bore you. Like waiting 30 seconds for there it is. Q-Goo with the logo and of course the aqua background. But let's try here. We'll go with okay, a screen. Nope. Go with how about green? Why not? And it's still set to 15 minutes, but in reality, 15 seconds. And in 15 seconds, we should see. I say in 15 seconds we should see. There we go. Yep, and notice Q-Goo, of course, but with the green background to match the color scheme. Let's try maybe, how about, red. That's pretty aggressive and powerful. So in 15 seconds this should pop back on here. Come on now, make with the screensaver. You know you can do it. All right, there we go. Yeah. So again, with the red background to match the color scheme. But there's that. We'll turn this off. Come on now. We'll turn this screensaver off for the moment. And color scheme back to my favorite agua. I guess that's about it. You've seen, well, wait a minute here. Color scheme, configure. Oh, this is the one, the configuring the buttons. We haven't seen this one yet, but I'll show you how that's done in a moment. We've seen our color scheme, the different sounds, and the screensaver. So we've seen all our different options, and we got to configure our buttons. When you start and set it up for yourself, you'll want, of course, you may not want to run Quilt. You want to run some others, maybe one of your own QBasic programs. So we'll go to configure buttons here. We'll click on reset. Bloop. Okay, now they're all blank. So now we go to configure and select the button position. We want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So we'll go with 1 and go quilt. QUILT dot base. Boom. And oh yes, quilt. So we have to do the program name and then the text for the button. There it is, quilt. Let's configure the next one. We'll go with 2 and enter. So program name, what was that one? That was text, I guess. Text dot base. And then of course the label, text. You get the idea. Now give me a minute here. I'll repopulate all these and we'll go back to where we were here. Hold on a second while I enter all this stuff here. All right, well now through the magic of television, I have, as you can see, I've reconfigured all the buttons just as they were before. But just for kicks, let's try a different one now. What do we got? The calculator. There's a fun one. That's from episode 10. Yeah, our calculator. Let's try 21. 12 divided by 3 equals, yeah, your typical calculator thing, and there you go. So that's Q-Goo. We've seen what this piglet does. Let's see how it does it. Get out of here and, all right, down the toilet once more. Now let's get to the meat of this piglet. Right, well here we go. We've got Q-Goo.bas there, Q-Goo.base, QBasic GUI, Graphical User Interface, copyleft 2025 as always by Dr. Doodle. We initialize our program, and so defint, we've seen this 1,000 times. This is just, it makes all our variable integer by default, speed things up a bit. Now did we declare subs? We got the mouse, of course, allows us to do the mouse, and play wave, that's the sound card, so you hear the sounds. Now, common background, shadow, and delay. The background is the screen. The shadow, that's obviously the shadow. And delay is the amount of delay for the screensaver. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Now, type file spec. I don't know if we've touched on this before with other QBasic programs, but you've got, actually I think we did. Anyway, we've got your basic QBasic data types. You've got what? Integer, long integer, you got single precision, floating point, double precision, and then of course what? You got string, so text, whatever. But if you don't need those particular data types, you can create your own data type. Here we've type file spec, I call it file spec. Source file as string times 12, so a string that is 12 characters long, label as string times 11, and then end type. What this is, I've created a data type that is 2 strings. The first is the source file. If you remember, when I was configuring the icons, I put in the actual program name, QBasic1.base, and then of course the label was what the text that you saw on the screen. So we got 2 pieces of information for each record. We've got the source file, that's the actual code, and then the label, which is the text you see on screen. So we've created our file type. Now we've got to use our file type. So we dim file spec as file spec. I just reused the name file spec because it was convenient. Now we redim the logo, which is the logo Q-Goo up there, and the icons, that's the different boxes you see on screen. I used redim instead of just dim because we'll be starting the program, exiting, starting, exiting. And this way it just redims them. You don't get, well, wait a minute, that array has already been dimensioned, so we just redim it each time. Path equals C code QBasic, change directory path. This is the path on my hard drive where I have all the code stored, the actual code itself, the other programs I have, the initialization file, Q-Goo, that's what keeps remembers what color you want, whether you want the screensaver or not, how long, the different the sounds, all that stuff. So open Q-Goo.ini for random as 1, length equals 23. And we've talked about length in other programs, I'm sure, or other videos, I'm sure, but we get one file spec, 26. Yeah, we're reading the 20. Now, if you remember, there's 25 icons. We're reading icon number 26. What's that all about? Well, let me show you. Hold on one second. Now we got the Q-Goo ini initialization file. Let's type this out, take a look. See, here we got QBA01.base and quilt. There's your first icon, the first title. QBA02.base text. There's the second icon, second text, blah, 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 all the way through up to number 25. But look at here, 11 and 0 Q-Goo. What's this all about? So 26, what is this? There's only 25 icons. Well, I'm using the file to store the color. That's the color scheme with 11, and then the 0. That's the time for the screensaver. With 0, it's off at the moment. It was 15, then it would be 15 minutes. It was 30, be 30 minutes, etc. And then Q-Goo wave and flush wave. I don't think I need to explain that. Those are the start and sound files. So just because the type it's got file spec and then the title, that's just text. The computer doesn't care what's in there. So I'm reusing the data type to hold information about the color scheme and the timeout for the screensaver, and then of course the waves, the startup and end waves. So that's what that's all about. All right, hang on, we'll get back to the program. All right, so we've created our file type and we dimensioned an instance of the file type, which is file spec. Redim the logo, we've seen all this. Open Q-Goo.ini, that's the initialization file. Now we get 26. Here we get the file spec. And again, we've already got all the information for the icon, so we go to number 26. We look at the file spec, and it's a background equals val file spec source file. So we're reading the record for source file, getting the file spec, which in this case it's 11, and that sets 11 to the background color 11. Now delay is val file spec label, which would be a label if it was an icon, but instead it's just the timeout for the screensaver. This is 0, so we set delay to 0, means the screensaver is off. If background equals 0, then background equals 12. So if you have no background color selected, it sets it to 12, which is the red. Shadow equals background minus 8. What this is, whatever color you choose for a background color, you select 8, you subtract 8 to give you the shadow. So in other words, with a red background, you get a dark red shadow. With a blue background, you get a dark blue shadow because you subtract 8 from whatever color, and that's the color of the shadow. Now, get 27, file spec. This is the startup sound, file spec.source file, and shutdown sound, file spec.label. So hopefully that made sense to you, but we're creating a file type called file spec with 2 members, source file and label. Now normally they're used for the actual the command line, I guess, if you will, to run the program, and then the label, which is what you see on screen. But I'm reusing it to hold the data for the background, the background color, the delay for your screensaver or off, then the startup and shut down the wave files. Now, mute equals 0. We'll see what this is about in a second here. If you notice, let's run this piglet.
Hello and welcome to Q-Goo, the QBasic Graphical User Interface. Let's get GUI.
Alright, so you've heard this, but now let's run Quilt. What happens when we run Quilt? Well, we run Quilt, of course, but it shuts down Q-Goo and now runs Quilt. Now, when I stop Quilt, it restarts Q-Goo. Notice it doesn't do the startup sound again. Why? We'll get to that in 1 second. Boom. Alright, so this is kind of back-ass word, but I'll take this line by line. Hopefully you'll understand. Now, mute is set to 0 just by default. Or as soon as the program starts up, it's set to 0. Now, on error, go to handler. What's this? Well, it starts to open the QGoo.set for input is 10. Now, if this file QGoo.set does not exist, then it goes to error handler. What's the error handler? We'll go here. Where are you? Okay, handler. QGoo set is not found. Open QGoo set for output is 10. So it creates this file. It's basically a dummy file. All we need to know is, does it exist or does it not exist? So we open QGoo.set for output as 10, close 10, now it exists, and we set mute to 1. Then resume next. So page back up. Now we open QGoo.set for input as 10. If it exists, that means we've already started QGoo.base and we've exited to one of our icons here, and we're coming back to it, but we've already started, so we don't need to play the startup sound again. So it goes up do screen, goes up load buttons. The do screen just it creates the screen, draws the screen. We load our buttons, then we turn the mouse on, sleep for 2 seconds, and here we go. If mute is not 0 and startup is not none, then play wave startup. Now we go to the main loop, and we'll see here. Now the timer function, we're using this for timing the screensaver. And this is a little bit convoluted, but here we go. First of all, we start T1 is equal to timer, which we looked at the timer there. That's how many seconds since midnight. So we set our start time to T1. We go through the main loop, and each time through the loop, T2 equals timer. So the next time through, T2 is equal to timer again. As the time goes on, more and more seconds since midnight, T2 is constantly updated here. Now, elapsed equals the current time minus the startup time. And if that elapsed time is greater than the delay, greater than 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and the delay is not 0, then we go sub-activate screensaver. T1 equals timer. So what we're doing, we're starting at the beginning of the program, we set T1 to the timer, the current time, however many seconds since midnight. We go through our loop, and we're going to, whatever we choose, whatever icons we want to run. This is the main program loop. And each time through the loop, T2, which is the current time, is reset to the time or updated to the timer. Now elapsed is the current time minus the start time. If elapsed is greater than delay and delay is not 0, so we select either 15, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever, then we go sub-activate screensaver. Once we come back from the screensaver, T1, the start time, is set back to timer, so we start the whole thing all over again. And end if. Now we call mouse 3, which reads the horizontal position, the vertical position of the mouse, and if old H is not equal to H, or old V is not equal to V, then T1 equals T2. So in other words, what's happening here, if you have moved the mouse horizontally or vertically, whatever, then we set the start time equal to the current time. Constantly update the start time. What this is, if you're actually using the program, then you don't want the screensaver to start. Now, if you walk away for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, nothing changes here. well, then it activates the screensaver. But if you're actually using it, we update the T1 to the current time, and then that's where we start counting. So I'm using the program, I stop for a second to go get a glass of milk, whatever. If I'm gone for more than 15 minutes, then the screensaver will activate. But if I move the mouse, if old H is not H or old V is not V, then we update the start time to whatever time I start moving the mouse. I know it's kind of tough to understand, but if you go through it step by step, it should be clear. What we're doing, as long as we're moving the mouse, we're updating the start time, so the screensaver is just ignoring it. We walk away for a while, and it doesn't update T1. So if the lapse time becomes greater than delay, then we activate the screensaver. Hope I explained that well enough. But in any case, if B equals 1, then we go sub buttons. In other words, we actually collect the button. Now we go to the button subroutine, which takes care of whatever we need to do. And we loop until in key equals character 27. That's the escape key. Go sub quit. And quit, we'll just look at the subroutine here. Quit. That should be pretty simple. Quit. We close out any open files, the initialization file, the Q-Goo.set, we close that. If shutdown equals none, then playable equals shutdown. So in other words, if we haven't chosen a different shutdown file, then it just plays the standard shutdown file. Mouse equals 2, turn off the mouse. Kill Q-Goo.set, that deletes the Q-Goo.set file, so that when we start again, as before, it will start up, it will create the new Q-Goo.set. This way we know it's time to play our startup file, but we only play it the one time, and then we don't play it again until we shut the whole system down. Now we clear the screen, system ends the program, and return. Okay, so there's our quit subroutine, and it's getting messy here, but stick with me. We'll go through the subroutines one by one, and hopefully it'll make a little more sense. Here we go. Okay, subroutines now. Again, this is where the nitty gets gritty. These do all the heavy lifting. The main loop just selects what subroutine you need to do whatever. Do screen. Again, that should be pretty obvious. It builds the icons, does all the, well, first we set the screen mode to screen 12. That's graphics 640 by 480 pixels and 16 different colors. We draw all our lines in the background, color everything else. Come down here, circles, da 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 da. Oh, the Q-G-Goo. Here we're actually creating the logo up top there, Q-Goo. Now we get the logo, stuff it into the logo array, line, background, etc. We create the shadows, save the shadows, background colors, everything else. So basically, we're just drawing the screen, and we print. Okay, here we do the quit button. We're drawing the box and the shadow for the quit button. We print quit. There's our quit button. Here's where we place all our different icons. That's just the icons themselves. It's not the text yet. Now, buttons. If V is less than 110, then select case H. Case 30 to 27, go sub control panel. So in other words, if V is less than 110, if it's up here above all the icons, now we select where we're clicking here. And if it's 30 to 270, we go sub control panel. If it's more than 512 to 590, we go sub quit. So if we're above the icons, we're either on the control panel or we're quitting. And select return. And if, now, select case H. This is if we're below where the icons are, the main part of the program. For H is from 20 to 139, then column is 1. 140 to 259, column is 2. 260, column is 3, 4, and 5. So basically, depending where the mouse is horizontally, we're either in column 1, column 2, 3, 4, or 5. Now we check vertical. Case 150, row is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. In other words, what we're doing, we've checked where the mouse is. And now we're selecting we're testing the horizontal position. If it's here, it's column 1, column 2, column 3, etc. And then the vertical, if it's here, then that's row 0, or here, row 1, row 2, whatever. Now, RC equals R times 5 plus C. This tells us what icon we're on. So row times 5 plus C. So if we're in row 0, then we're row times 0 equals 0, plus the column. So with column 1, this is the first icon, column 2 is the second icon, 3, 4, 5. Now, if we're down in row 1, that's row times 5, so 5, plus the first column is 1, so 5, 6. So in other words, we're row 0 times 5 is 0, plus column 1, column 2, column 3, 4, up to 5. Now we come down to the first column. In other words, we're adding 5 because we multiply 1 by 5. And then 1 more for the column. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We come down to the second column. Now we're adding 5 times 2, or 10, plus the column. So this is what, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. In other words, what we're doing is we're setting RC equal to whatever icon we're currently over. Now we go sub run program, and let's see if I can find run program. Where is that? Okay, run program. Again, this does the heavy lifting. We turn the mouse off, get one RC file spec. So RC, that's the icon number. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever. So we look at file spec number icon. If we're on icon, say 17, it looks at file spec 17. It gets the file name, which left trim, right trim, file spec cell. In other words, it trims off all the blank space and just gets the file spec source file. That's the file we want to run. Stuffs that into file name. Now if RC is less than 21, then run file name. Now if we're 21 or greater, then we're on the last row here, which is all the DOS programs, not QBasic but DOS. So if we're 21, 22, 3, 4, or 5, then we shell to DOS, and we've already got the file name from here. Run the file name, either Doom batch, for example, or Hexen batch, whatever it is. After we run our DOS program, run C code QBasic Q-Goo, start it all over again. So in other words, if we're less than 21, this is the first 20 icons, then we look at whatever icon number we are, RC, and then we get the file spec for that icon. We trim the left and the right, the empty space, look at file spec.source file, that's the actual code that we want to run, the file name, put that into file name. If RC is less than 21, then we run the file name and we're all good. Else, we're at 21 or more, then we go to shell, DOS, shell to DOS. We run the program, the DOS, doom.bat or whatever batch file. Then after we run the DOS program, we run C code QBasic Q-Goo.base, start all over again. Once we've run our program, we go to sub do screen to print the screen again, and go sub load buttons to load the buttons, turn the mouse on, and return. Hopefully that made sense. But again, the idea here of run program, we're just looking at what icon we're on. If we're in the first 20, then we just go to the file spec, it'll get the file name from file spec.source file for it's either icon 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. Then we run the QBasic program. Else, if we're in the last 5, icon 21, 22, 23, 24 to 5, then we shell to DOS, we start a new instance of DOS, run our DOS program, and when we're done running the program, we come back to QBasic and we run Q-Goo.base. Okay, then after we've done both of that, we go sub do screen to draw the screen again, go sub load buttons to load all the buttons, mouse 1 turns the mouse on, and return. So there's the basic function where the nitty gets gritty, the heavy lifting. Alright, now here's our control panel. And this is obviously we've clicked on the Q-Goo logo, then we're at our control panel. We turn the mouse off, draw a box to clear everything out there, and now we print all this here, our options, select option to modify, configure buttons, color scheme, sound, whatever. Now we turn the mouse on so we can see where we're clicking. Do mouse 3 and loop until B equals 0. So this just waits until we release the mouse, because we don't want to immediately, if we click on color scheme, oh, we want to change sounds or whatever. We're waiting until we release the mouse. Now we loop until we press the mouse. Now we're either over configure buttons or reset or something. We've put the mouse pointer where we want it. We've clicked on this or that or whatever. Now we want to do something. So once we get to this point, if H is less than 270, then select case V. that means it's less than here. It's actually in the control panel somewhere. Select case V, case 654 to 79. Now we're at this point here, configure buttons. If H is less than 190, so from here over, then we go sub-configure buttons. Else, if it's on reset, then close one, kill Q-Goo.ini. In other words, we're shutting down the initialization file. We delete it. Open Q-Goo.ini for random as 1 length 26. So basically, we've cleared it out. If we hit reset, it's now an empty file. So we open it again. Now we can start putting configurations in there. And case 8095, H is less than 190, go sub color scheme, else go sub sounds. So if we're on the second row down, we're selecting the color scheme, or we'll go sub sounds, and if case 96 to 112 go sub screensaver. Basically, we're checking where we are, what we've clicked on, and we either go sub configure the buttons, or we go to the color scheme or the sounds to set the screensaver and select and if. Now mouse 2, go sub do screen again, load buttons, and put the logo preset, mouse 1 return. So here we go. Let's go over this again quick. We clicked on the control panel, so we box 0 that gets rid of the logo, and the line 14, that's the yellow box around it. We print all our options up here. We loop until B equals 0. So we've clicked on it. Now we release the mouse button. Now we move the mouse over either configure buttons or reset or color scheme or sounds or screensaver, whatever. And we wait until we press the button, because maybe we're over on the color scheme. We click the button. Oh, we want to go to color scheme. Once we've clicked the button, we check where is it horizontally, where is it vertically, and depending where it is, we either configure the buttons, or we go to this color scheme, or the screensaver, the sounds, what have you. Once we've made our choices, now we turn off the mouse, go sub do screen to reprint the screen, go sub load buttons to reload the buttons, put the logo, mouse 1, turn the mouse back on, and return. Now configure buttons. Again, should be pretty self-evident. Configure the buttons. Mouse 2, we turn the mouse off. Lines, we draw all the different buttons. Oh, this is over here where it says select icon position 1 through 25, and then save that in position. Enter program name, file name, enter label text dot label. So here we're selecting what position, what icon we want to alter. Here we're entering the program name, QBO1.base, QBO2.base, etc., saving that in file name. Now we enter the label text, the label that we actually want to see on the screen, and save that in label. If position equals 0, then return. Now for n equals 1 to 25, we're going through, we're reading the file spec, the source file, ucase, uppercase, file name, and then file spec.label equals label. What we're doing here is we've made our selections up here. Now we go 1 through 25. We read the actual source file and the label, and we put them into the buttons. So put 1 position file spec, and next and go sub build icons, put the logo, and then turn the mouse on, return. Color scheme, pretty much like the same. We turn the mouse off and turn the box to select that puts up the different colors we can print. Now if you notice, it's the same character, which is just basically a square box. But here's color 8, color 9, color 10. So we're printing color 8 right here, color 9, this little square box in color 8, and then color 9, color 10. That's when we look for the black, the red, whatever. This gives us the color palette we can click on. Mouse 1, we turn the mouse on so we know where we're clicking. Again, loop until release, loop until we press. Select case H. If it's from here to there, then the background is 8. If it's from here to there, background is 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. We set the shadow to the correct number. And select file spec.source file equals string background color. And we're saving the background color, which we selected here, as file spec.file source. So we put 126 file spec, and what that does is it puts the color that we select for our background into position 26, and the label is the delay for the screensaver. Now screensaver, here's this. Line the background. Again, we print screensaver options, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or off. Now, we turn the mouse on, wait till we release the mouse, and then we press the mouse and we select case H. From here to there, the delay is 15. Now, if you notice, I've commented out times 60. So this is actually 15 seconds. Now, times 60 would be 15 minutes. This is 60 minutes, 60 seconds times 60 would be 60 minutes or 1 hour. 30 seconds times 60 would be 30 minutes or half an hour. Again, like I said, I commented out the times 60 just for the purpose of this video, so we didn't have to wait 15 minutes for the screensaver to kick in. In reality, we come up here and move this, delete, move that. So now this is 15 times 60 seconds, or 15 minutes, 60 times 60 seconds, or 60 minutes, 30 times 60 seconds, or 30 minutes. And if from this point here, case 80 to 96, then delay equals 0. And select. Do mouse 3, loop until B equals 0, until release it. Now, once we've made our choices, we set file spec source file to the background color, which we did that in black color scheme. We set file spec label to the string delay and put 126 file spec. Whew! At this point, we've selected our background color, we've selected our delay time or none, and we put that into record number 26, which we save our color scheme and screensaver. Now activate screensaver. We saw this earlier. If our elapsed time has elapsed, then we go sub mouse 2, turn it off. We close all files. We chain to QGoo.scr and return. Now QGoo.scr, that's another basic program, which we shut down the program and we chain to QGoo to run the screensaver. Then we return. Sounds. Same idea. We clear out the box there and wait until we release the button. Print enter startup sound, startup, and if len startup equals 0, then startup equals Q-Goo. So in other words, if you just click enter and you don't enter a startup file name, then it just uses the default Q-Goo. Now we ucase write startup for, okay, in other words, if the write for, let's say we put in Q-Goo, but we don't put Q-Goo.wave. If the last 4 characters are not .wave, then startup equals startup plus wave. What that does, if you forget to put Q-Goo.wave, then it adds wave on the end. This way you can find the file, even if you don't put in Q-Goo.wave, or whatever file you want to select. And now enter shutdown sound, the same idea. We input shutdown. If the len shutdown is 0, if you just hit enter and you haven't entered a different file you want to play, then shutdown equals flush, which is the default wave. If ucase write shutdown is not .wav, then shutdown equals shutdown plus wave. So again, I'm getting tired. This is a long piece of code here. So if you just put in flush, but you don't put flush.wave, then it adds wave on the end. Now we've got our startup file sound, our shutdown sound, file spec source file equals startup, file spec label equals shutdown, and put 27 file spec. So we save this information into the initialization file, turn the mouse on, and return. We're getting pretty close to the end here. Handler, that's like I said before, if the Q set is not found, then it generates Q set and sets mute to 1. That's for the first time we run the program, because when we quit, we delete Q.set so it no longer exists. The first time we run the program, it's not going to find Q.set because we deleted it. So we come here, we generate Q.set, and we set mute to 1. That's how it knows to play the startup sound. Once we have run we've clicked our icons and run the programs we want to run, then we exit the program and it shuts everything down, deletes QGoo.set. Next time we come back, we want to run QGoo.base. It will look for this. It won't find it because we've deleted it here. So again, it creates it. It sets mute to 1, and all as above, so below. Let it rinse, repeat. And quit. Phew, finally, we close all files that are open. If shutdown equals none, then play wave shutdown. Again, play the default wave. Mouse 2 to turn off the mouse. Kill Q.set to get rid of that. Clear the screen, system, and return. And we're done. I know I didn't explain this nearly well enough. Let me tell you something. I'm still confused, and I wrote the thing. But watch the video a few times, and hopefully you'll understand what this all does. As before, as always, if you have questions, just be sure to leave them down in the thing. But now we're done with the code. It's time to go for Supeeriors section, and my mouth is kind of hoarse. I've been talking all this while, but we'll check out Supeeriors, come back, we'll shut this pig down, and I'll send you on your way. Hang on 1 second. Here we go. Whoops, one thing I forgot to mention, one little caveat here. If you notice with the Q-Goo program, when I bring up another program, say for example QBA01, the quilt program, now I needed to make one small change to each program I want to run with Q-Goo. I had to enter this line here. Instead of system, I have to chain Q-Goo.base to go back to Q-Goo. So in other words, we chain from Q-Goo to whatever program. And each program that we run with Q-Goo, we have to enter chain Q-Goo.base. Instead of system, instead of just shutting down, we have to chain back to Q-Goo.base, or the whole system's not going to work. And yeah, it's a minor alteration, but just like any Windows program, it has to be written specifically to run with Windows. Well, these need to be updated to run with Q-Goo.base. So there's that. I almost forgot to tell you, and now I've told you, so hang on. We'll go back to Supeeriors. There it is. Supeeriors coming right up. Supeeriors. All right, gang. Well, this time around for our Supeeriors section, we've got a fun one. That is, if you happen to think physics is fun, and as a matter of fact, I do. At least when presented by Mr. Eugene Kuderyansky. This Gene is, wow, is amazing. He's got, what is it? How many videos? A bunch of videos. 179 videos. So there's plenty to look through here. But all the physics you can imagine, all you could want. You know, physics tends to be boring and whatever. But well, put it this way. Let me just take Maxwell's Demon, just a little clip of this. You'll see what I'm talking about. Eugene has a unique twist on videos. He animates them all with amazing music and terrific animation. Narration, excuse me, by Kira Vincent is her name. The two of them, they come up with these great videos. And here we've got, this is Maxwell's Demon, who anyone who's into physics should understand what this is all about. But come on, pokey thing. There we go. Yes, Maxwell's Demons. Now, Eugene likes to animate this. He's got some amazing animations he's done here. This one here happens to be on entropy. Basically, the idea, you separate, in this case, two gases into different places, and they just tend to blend together. And in order to get them separated again requires energy, and that's when they... Yeah, never mind. Basically, you see, you got your animations and the narration and everything else. But, yeah, this is referred to as Maxwell's Demon. Well, there's one of his videos. So there's the idea. You've got your amazing animations, and if you could, I find like this one here, Fourier transforms, the Fourier series and frequency. This one's kind of cool. Basically, it's all about audio. Well, really any cyclic or repeating signal. This helps to, but I never quite understood how this all worked, but when you can visualize it like this, it really helps to explain things. And we'll go back to his channel. That's the idea. He's got hundreds and almost 200 or so videos all about, Einstein's relativistic train in a tunnel. This one's all about Einstein's theory on time dilation. How as you approach the speed of light, time slows down for you but remains the same for everyone else. And who's right? Well, it turns out both of you are. But yeah, this one's a fun one. I enjoyed watching this one a couple times. Yeah, physics, they, like I say, most people just kind of, they shake their heads and and tune out when you mention the word physics. It's also complex and hard to understand. But Eugene, he and Kira, who narrates his videos, electronics. He's got a bunch of electronics and electricity, basically how that all works. What's this one? Capacitors and capacitance. That I really enjoyed that one as well. The capacitors and inductors used in filters, which again, audio. I'm all about the audio. But gyroscopic procession and gyroscopes. That one's kind of neat. I'll have to check that one out. Just amazing videos. It helps you. Actually, it makes me feel smarter because I never thought I'd understand any of this. But when I can see it, visualize it, it just makes it so much more understandable. And Eugene's got hundreds of videos, just amazing things. Physics, electronics, light, sound, pressure, gases, light. I think I mentioned light already, but electronics. Anything you want to know about physics, it's all physics, really. I think the only thing he doesn't really touch on, I think, is chemistry, but he might have some of that. But you really need to check out Eugene Kurdiansky, I guess that's how it's pronounced. His videos on physics are just amazing, and the graphics, the animations make it so much fun. I mean, for Maxwell's demon, he's actually got a demon. What more could you ask for? Oh, the polarization of light. That one was neat. I really enjoyed that a lot. You need to check out physics videos by Eugene Kurdiansky. Again, one of my favorites. I've watched so many of his videos, and I love them all. You will learn something. You'll have a good time, and you'll thank yourself for coming. Thank Eugene for your hard work. You got to check out this page, physics videos by Eugene Kurdiansky. I guarantee you'll enjoy your time well spent, put it that way. So that's about it. Now with time to head back to the video, we'll wrap this piglet up and get you out of here. Okay, here we go. Hang on a second. Well, there you have it, gang. Q-Goo, the QBasic Graphical User Interface. My lengthiest, most complicated program to date. Don't feel bad if you don't understand it all. I realize now I should have busted up into separate parts, but, well, the thing is, my job requires me to travel quite a bit, so I'm generally gone for weeks at a time. I only have a day or two to do these videos when I get home. So I just crammed it all into one, and hopefully I haven't lost you along the way. But again, just watch the video as many times as you need to. Download the code, tinker with it. That's the best way to learn anything, really change something. What does this do? Oh, that's why it's that way. But again, as always, download the code, tinker with it, and any questions, problems, just leave a comment down there, and then I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. I gotta say, if nothing else, this episode here, this program, has really given me an appreciation for what an amazing piece of code Windows really is. All the, well, not thousands, but tens or hundreds of thousands of man hours, the hundreds of people, thousands of people working on it, all to put this thing together. It's a full project, let me tell you. So this little stupid little QBasic GUI here I come up with, if it's this complicated, I don't even want to imagine what Windows is all about. But anyway, there you go. And again, download, try it out, tinker with it. Any questions, comments, complaints? I'm sure there'll be complaints. But just leaving the thing down there, and I will try and answer as quickly as I can, as thoroughly as I can. If you're still with me, thank you. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate you, gang, and I don't know about you, but I'm shot. So until next time, guys, hasta la pizza, baby. Ugh.